Welcome to this week's forecast for July 29th until August 4th. My name is Desiree de Lunae, your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer, and we're going to dive into this nice week that we have upon us before the crazy happens. Okay, so I just kind of coined this as the week of fun before the storm. We have a very contentious month ahead of us in August, especially the last half of August, where it's going to be a bit of a struggle bus. And so we do have this lucky week to really enjoy. And to me, the way I see this as an opportunity to really fuel ourselves, to nourish ourselves, and to strengthen ourselves as we walk into the rest of the next month of August. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so that you are notified when a new video is up every week. Almost there. Let me put this in big presentation mode. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Okay. So let's talk about Monday first. Now, a lot of the things I'm going to mention will be influencing majority of this week. You know, our moon is the one that's going to be shifting around throughout the week, and that's going to be where the big changes are. But for the most part, I'll let you know if something is temporary, but whatever I do talk about, majority of what I'm talking about for Monday is going to impact us for the whole entire week. So we have our sun over here in Leo as well as Venus. Now, the Leo sign is a fire sign and it is very kind-hearted, it's warm, it's playful, it wants to have some fun, it wants to enjoy itself, it's very expressive. And so this is about enjoying the good life here. And especially with Venus right here, which is indicator for our relationships with females, with women, also our partnerships, and just friendships in general. This is a time where we're here to gather and connect. And you're probably going to feel a bit more, confident as well, because Leo, the lion, not afraid of anything. It's very, very confident. So one thing I do want to mention here is that it's in the first decan. So each sign does get split up into thirds, and that just adds a little extra nuance and texture to the energies of Leo. And there are sometimes other planets that rule these subsections here. And so we have a co-rule between Sun and Saturn, and in this 6th degree where the Sun is currently sitting. And the sun wants to be out there. It's seen, it's noticed. You can't obviously ignore the sun. It is present and it is impacting and influencing us and giving us light and life and warmth and growth, right? But then you have the Saturn. Saturn is a bit more constricting. It prefers to be alone, not to be seen. So there's a little bit of a tug here, like push-pull going on between the sun, the co-ruler sun here wants to be seen, and then Saturn that does not want to be seen and wants to be alone. So just make sure in whatever you are doing, because this is a really great week for launching and starting things, that it's something that you have the long term in mind and it's something that you're very proud of. Okay, so just make sure it's something that you feel good about doing, that you won't in the future have shame or guilt around. So Venus in Leo is also going to bring a lot of warmth, a lot of warm feelings with others, wanting to connect and bond with others. The heart is ruled by Leo. So there's a lot of warm-heartedness and sharing and vulnerability and connection, like heart-to-heart connection happening here. So let's go on over to here with Mars and Jupiter. These two are next to each other. We call that a conjunction. They're about 8 degrees away. So anything within, 10 degrees, some people say 12, anything within 10 degrees, for sure, like these two planets, when they're in that close proximity, they really influence and impact one another. They kind of fuse and become like a unit, essentially. And both of these are in Gemini. So if you talk about, let's say, if we talk about Mars, this is the red one. Mars has to do with action, initiation, doing. It's vital, it's vitality. It has a lot of energy and power packed into it. And then you have Jupiter here that is talks a lot about fortune and opportunities and optimism, hope. And so when you kind of mash these two, or as mush these two together, what ends up happening is you have like fortunate action. Okay. Like great luck, opportunities that things that you start and initiate are going to have a lot of luck behind them. It's like so many doors, like opening doors of opportunity is happening. And it's also in Gemini, and Gemini is very active. So the mind is going to be sharp. Like your mind is going to be able to process and digest a lot of information as well. There's brilliance here, and you're going to come to conclusions a lot faster. And then Jupiter being in Gemini is also very adventurous. So between Mars and Jupiter together, you're not going to be hesitating on something. You're going to go into it with courage and faith and being bold and being very optimistic about the future of it as well. So also like good money making opportunities come through this conjunction here too. So very, very nice. Like a lot of yang, as you notice, we have a lot of yang energies as Gemini is an air sign. And then we have the sun and Venus in Leo, that's a fire sign. So fire and air, there's a lot of activity happening. This is not the kind to like sink into your bed or into your couch and just chill and relax. Well, maybe a little bit from the moon, but there is way too much yang that's going to really stimulate you into doing things and being very active. You'll probably physically want to move your body as well and do some exercise or get projects done that require physical activity. Let's take a look at some of these other aspects. We've got the sun and its sextile with Mars, and that is also going to bring a lot of vitality, good for accomplishing all kinds of physical work. Your energy is high. You'll be able to achieve things that you set out to achieve. You'll be able to accomplish them. You're more self-assertive at this time, more confident, more direct, very like, this is between how Mars is and how Sun is, you're going to lead. Don't have a problem giving direction and making those decisions. And so this is going to be also good for working with others too. Okay. Now we do have the last day of this. So the things I've just mentioned, that's ongoing for the whole week. Everything I've just talked about goes on the whole week. With the exception of this one, this Sun and Pluto, they are in opposition. They're literally in the opposite end of each other. And we've had this influence for quite a while in the last couple of weeks, or the last week especially. And this is the last day, and it can be difficult. It can help to surface the hidden, sometimes like bring to the surface some traumas or subconscious patterning that we haven't been able to touch before. So that part may not be fun, but there are some other aspects to the Pluto we'll talk about in a second, like the moon, for example, being in trine with Pluto that really support it. So this is a good time to also fix broken things, or you might notice, have things been breaking around your house a lot, like things you use on a regular basis? I've had like random little appliances and things just falling apart and having to replace it because it's lived its course. It's just done. So there's some of that happening. Let me know in the comments below if things have been breaking around you quite a bit. So, but maybe some power struggles with authority as well, or you might need to like stand up for yourself essentially. With Mars and Jupiter being as strong as they are, like this is, and your Sun in Leo, like if you need to stand up for yourself or you need to fight for something like your beliefs or your position, or really like make a point and argue about it, you're going to be just fine. especially like Mars and Gemini. Your mind is sharp and brilliant, and you've got your arguments like all lined up, and it all makes sense. It's very logical. It's very reasonable. So if you need to do any kind of debating or even negotiating, you're good to go. Okay, so let's talk about the moon in Taurus. Now, the moon in Taurus is the most ideal location. Now, every planet or sun, moon, they have a sign that is their home sign, but then they also have a sign that's like their vacation. Like the moon in Taurus is basically on a very luxurious, resort that it is indulging in all of the senses, indulging in like beauty and fluffy pillows and blankets and just silky like sheets. It is and oh, delicious food. It is on vacation. It is super happy here. Now, we do have Uranus next to it. You'll see this kind of like dark purple right next to the moon. That could bring a bit of like excitement and adventure, or, like really intense intuitive hits as well, but it can bring some change, like sudden change that's unexpected, and you weren't emotionally like preparing for it, so that could happen. There are other great things happening for the moon, but with the moon being in Taurus, like it can handle it. It can absolutely handle it, because in an earth sign, especially Taurus, it's very stable. It's very grounded. It will take its time. I like this combination where the mind is sharp, but then the moon is also very sensitive and very reflective in an earth sign. It is feeling into a situation. Your body is going to show you and tell you if something's right or something's not right for you. So there's a good combination of like the sharp, quick intellect, but also your intuition, just being able to really feel into the truth of something or the lack thereof. So this is a really great placement for moon, and it gives you great powers of concentration as well, and just some of that emotional stability and groundedness. And like I said, we do have a little bit of possible disruption from Uranus being only 1 degree away, but I feel like with other influences, this moon is set up to be able to handle any kind of disruption that might be irritating or a lot to deal with at first, but you can handle it. There's strength here. There's a great amount of strength here in the moon. Okay, so other things we have, Mercury in Virgo. I do want to mention this one right here. So Mercury is this kind of purpley planet. It's at 2 degrees of Virgo. It's in its home sign too. So we have moon in its home. I'm sorry, exalted. Moon is super happy. And then we also have Mercury that's very happy too. This is its natural place, as Mercury rules Virgo. And this is the planet of communication and learning, right? And speaking and just expression. And so with Virgo sign, it's very grounded. It's very practical. It's very analytical. So very interesting, as you can see, like we have quite a good mix of these yang energies, like between Leo and Gemini, and using the mind, right? But then also we have these earth energies that are very grounded in nature too. And Mercury is very thorough in Virgo. It's very thorough. So you may come up with quick decisions, but it's not because you're being like you're overlooking details or being impulsive. That's not, no. And even though it's quick, it's because Mercury, it's like the metabolism is high. The Mercury's metabolism is high and is able to go through and comb through every detail. I mean, just like how, when I think about a calculator, if I do a complex math problem, it's precise and accurate and it's very quick. Right? It's not like taking forever to figure things out. In a second, it figures it out, just like how computers just figure things out like immediately, instantly. It seems like Chat GPT. I say, hey, here's a paragraph that I wrote, or 2 paragraphs. Please make it sound beautiful, and it's instantaneous. It barely takes a moment, but it is still thorough. Just because it's fast doesn't mean it's not thorough, right? So I love, again, the combination of the yin and the yang, the fire and the earth and the air and then the earth. Okay, so I do want to mention there is a little moon square Mercury, there's this one. Maybe like some of your emotions might be a bit more intense, harder to communicate and express in words sometimes, what it is that you are feeling. So there could be that happening. But, there's this also a beautiful sextile, which is a positive thing, between Moon and Neptune. And Neptune is our intuition. It's our, like, psychic abilities. It's our knowingness too. It's our imagination and creativity. So the moon, again, is, I feel, more supported than not. And you're going to be more attuned to what is true, what is right, what is accurate for yourself. We also have Moon trine Pluto, and I said this before, like the Sun and Pluto in opposition might be like unearthing, really deep things that you couldn't even touch before, and bringing it to the surface so that you can work through it and heal it. And what I love about this, like Uranus and Moon, they're both actually in trine with Pluto, is that you're experiencing this transformation and this evolution that's happening, and your moon, especially in Taurus, and communicating with Neptune, it understands it. It understands what's happening. It's very present with this transition and transformation that you are going through. It has emotional intelligence. It has spiritual awareness backed behind all of this change that you internally, your soul is moving through and experiencing and going through. So I love the clarity that the moon has. I mean, yeah, we have again that little blip between Mercury and Moon, but I'm not too worried about it, because your internal world, you don't need to share everything right now. You don't need to verbally express everything right now. It's more about really connecting and understanding and reflecting on the changes that are actually happening inside of you. Okay, all right, so we do have one that I want to point out, and it's going to be all week, and it's worth mentioning. It is between Jupiter and Saturn. So Jupiter is the one that looks like a 4, and then Saturn is over here. It looks like an H with a line over it, and it's more of a maroon color. And there is a square. You'll see a red line between the two. And so this one, look, Saturn is about separating. Okay, it's about making adjustments, and it's more isolating in nature, whereas Jupiter is like expansive and growing. So there is this balance here, of knowing like what to cut out, maybe what ideas you need to separate from, or people you need to separate from, versus what do you move towards and expand and grow and add more of. And so between these two, like you're finding your way through, especially with this very aware moon that we've got going. You are learning like what adjustments need to be made, and what basically where to cut back and where to expand. That's the balance here. Where do you cut back on things, and where do you expand on things? So this part could bring a little bit of restlessness, because that's going to basically stimulate these changes, which means, you have to get used to some different situations and circumstances. And even, one of the things to think about too, we have Neptune in Pisces, and that's in retrograde, and it's next to Saturn. Look, there's so much misinformation that is out in the world, and deception and lies and illusions and delusions out there, which is, when we were dealing with Neptune. And when I see this aspect, this is also helping you to cut through all of the misinformation and the lies and the illusions that people are putting out there. So it's going to bring like this sobering reality, and just you intuitively knowing, like, I hear it, I see it, but I don't believe it. It's not true. And just, when we have like one AI, two, we have, so many people with so many opinions, like this is gonna, in a way, help you to navigate and sift and sort like what is accurate and true for you. Because Jupiter cares about the truth. It does. It cares about the truth. And in many ways, I feel like Saturn too, because it's cutting off like excesses and just getting down to what's most valuable. I mean, it rules Capricorn and Aquarius. Saturn does. And so those, when I think about those two signs, they do care very much about the truth. They don't, the Aquarius is truth teller, and Capricorn cares about quality. It doesn't want junk. It doesn't want non-valuable things. It only wants, what's precious and valuable, which means truth is precious and valuable. So, okay, I totally went off on that one. Okay, anyway, so that's that. That's again, that influence I just talked about is going to be for the whole week. The one that's going to move around a lot is the moon. So let's continue on to Tuesday. So Tuesday, we still have, yes, the Sun and Venus here in Leo. So Leo is still a prominent influence for us. And the one thing that did move is Moon. So Moon was in Taurus, and now it has moved right into Gemini. And Gemini is air sign. It's lively. It's chatty. It's mutable. So it's changing. It's erratic. It might be a little bit flighty and frenetic as well, but the mind is just going, and it's going fast. And that fast is even amplified many times over, because I want you to see this right here. Look at where the moon is at 9 degrees. It is sandwiched and in between Mars and Jupiter. Mars is only 3 degrees away, because Mars is 6 degrees, and then Jupiter is 6 degrees away. So like I said, anything within like a 10 degree, like these planets start to kind of fuse and merge and become its own thing. And so this moon, with Mars being, very like passionate and ambitious and have drive and willpower, but also can be a little irritated and angry and frustrated and aggressive, okay, and dealing with some conflict, might bring some conflict here. And then we have Jupiter that it actually expands whatever it touches. It grows all of that. So our sensitivity, our emotions are going to be heightened and amplified because of this setup. Not only that, like you also have Moon. Oh, is that let's see. Oh, no, never mind. It's not communicating with Neptune. But these two are absolutely, the Mars and the Jupiter are really making our moon move, which means our emotions are moving. Our emotions are fast. Like we might be feeling all kinds of things all over the place. And our thinking it's very active and thorough too. But just know that this is a little bit restless. There's a bit of restlessness here, and you're going to need to rapidly sift through a lot of information, okay? Conversations are probably going to like take all of these twists and turns that are unexpected. And so, yeah, this will be, you'll probably want to talk to people. You'll probably want to interact with people. You might want to debate and argue with people as well, and really be firm on your beliefs. Like Jupiter represents a lot of our philosophies and our values and our spirituality and our beliefs about life and how we see the world. So you'll probably be a bit more like aggressive or assertive and just arguing your case for things. If you need to argue, this is a good setup for that. But Jupiter also brings, those feelings of optimism and hope. And so even if you do debate and argue, like you just have this faith and trust that you're right. You're absolutely right. Okay, so we've got also Moon in sextile with the Sun, and this one is really nice. This brings like some equanimity between like your inner world and your outer world. Good for like just interacting with people as well. So that's a nice little aspect too. Okay. All right. So next, let's go on to Wednesday. And Wednesday is the 31st, and we have our moon still in Gemini, but look, it's not sandwiched anymore. It's on the other side of Jupiter. So know that, Mars it's a lot further. Look how many degrees. Was it 15 degrees away? So it's definitely has some distance. It's still impacting the moon, but not nearly as much as Tuesday, because Tuesday, you could have some spurts of like irritability and annoyance, and a little rage pop here and there, but you should be much better on Wednesday. And Jupiter is closer to the moon here, and that's going to bring those feelings of being generous and kind and optimistic and connected. So that'll be really nice. Good feelings here. And just being in relationship with others will be very nice. And then we've got moon sextile Venus, which then adds, it's a blue, like kind of a star right here between the moon and Venus in Leo. And that's going to bring, again, these very pleasant feelings and warmth from your heart, right, to others. Moon, like I said, likes to connect and have conversations and socialize. And maybe this is a day you'll be talking on the phone with your friends a lot from all over the place, or multiple friends that day. You would spend hours on the phone that day, which you didn't plan on, but it feels good. It feels good. And so, I said, like, this is the week of fun before the storm, because take advantage of this, like really enjoy the company of others. And there's so much heart to heart connection that is being like called for in this week, and just really sharing of yourself. Don't hold back. Obviously it's going to be with people that you have closeness with, and you have intimacy with. I'm talking about partner, friend, family, but like you can be vulnerable with. And it's a time of experiencing a lot of gratitude too. And when we see moon sextile Venus, like especially your female relationships, because Venus is an indicator for women, and same thing with the moon too. So really like foster those female relationships, your girlfriends, hanging out with them and having great conversations with them, and just sharing your heart. Be expressive, share your desires and your needs and your fears and the everything. Like this is a good time to strengthen those bonds, and strengthen that emotional like intimacy with these people. And you'll see like it's such a nice setup, especially when we're going to have a new moon at the end of the month. It's good practice for a new moon. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else we have moon square Saturn. This could be difficult here. This red line with the square, here's Saturn, here's the moon. And so this could bring some feelings of loneliness, and isolation, and just feeling like nobody cares. So if that's coming up to the surface, I do recommend that, again, call a friend, phone a friend, and that will help mitigate that little difficult aspect there. Okay, so let's go on to Thursday. Now, Thursday is on the 1st, and our moon does another transition. So it leaves Gemini and it ingresses into Cancer, which means it moves into Cancer. And it's at home here. Moon is like very happy here, extremely happy. It's its natural place. And here the moon feels safe, it feels secure, it feels comforted, it's very nurturing, it's very like loyal to important persons in their life, very devoted, patient, also sensitive, incredibly sensitive. And that's why it's so nurturing. It's empathic. There's a lot of creativity and imagination, even feeling romantic. So moon is super happy. Okay. Super happy. We do have like we do have some sextiles going on, between Mercury and Moon, which is a really nice thing. That means you're going to be able to really effectively share and express into words and describe the feelings that you are feeling or the thoughts you're thinking. Like it's just going to come out so smoothly. You're going to be able to capture those frequencies and those vibrations and emotions that you are experiencing. So it's smooth, it's effortless. And so like I said, these conversations and these connections are so important this week. I mean, it makes it, the setup makes it easy, makes it so easy for you so that you can, really like experience love from others and share love to others and just fuel up on all this love. Because you might not feel so lovey-dovey like towards the middle of the month and the rest of the month. So just pack it in, okay? All right. So yeah, great for just a lot of like socializing, interacting, talking. So, answer the phone. That would be my recommendation. If somebody calls you, a friend calls you, or, somebody you haven't heard from in a while, don't ignore it. Don't say later, like answer the phone and have a conversation, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because those few minutes can be very, very meaningful and very profound, for them or for you or both. So please don't miss those moments is what I'm saying. All right, let's continue on to Friday. Our moon is still here in Cancer, so it's in its happy, nurturing place. It's sensitive place, and you might love being at home too, like invite people over to your house, for example. Just really enjoying the safety and security of home. But let's talk about, well, it's not about, they're good things. Let's talk about some of the great aspects here. We've got moon in trine with Saturn. So that's the blue triangle line. And this is going to give you that emotional strength. And look, like I said, we're going to go through some trying times for the rest of August. And so this day on Friday, you soak up this moon trine Saturn because this gives you endurance. This gives you strength, power, like strong foundation here where like you have the emotional strength to handle hardship and challenges and difficulty. You got this. You got this. And so soak up these energies because this is going to give you power to move through what we're about to. Trust me, I am not looking forward to sharing all of that later, but I have to share what I see. So, okay, the other one is the sun in sextile with Jupiter. So that's really nice too, bringing a lot of a positive frame of mind. Okay, so even though, like I said, it might look kind of grim and bleak later on, soak up all this positivity and faith and trust and hope. Just be outside. Don't just stay home and just literally like bask in these energies. Go for a walk if weather permits, for example. Okay, very good. So that's Friday. And then let's talk about Saturday. Saturday on the 3rd, we have moon that moves into Leo, and it is joining now the sun and Venus, and we're about to approach a new moon, which is happening on Sunday. But as moon moves into Leo, now you know how I was talking about that heartfelt, emotions and feelings, and wanting to express from the heart. This is amplified even more with the moon here. It is a fire sign, but the moon likes Leo. There's a lot of warmth here. There's stability. It's a fixed fire sign, so there's stability and predictability too. There's a lot of like just positive outlook. Like I said, are you seeing this repetition? There's a lot of luck. There's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of strength. There's a lot of power. There's some like sobering nature too from Saturn that's been influencing a few areas this week that gives us like a strong foundation and clarity and knowing what to cut out, and what to expand on. But with our moon here, to come back to the moon, like this arouses our affections. This is going to make you be more lovey, to your partner and to your friends. But here's one thing that's very important to point out when we're dealing with moon in Leo and sun in Leo too, because the Leo rules the heart. is that you have to have your heart in it. You have to have your heart in it. If you are not feeling it, all right? If you're not feeling it, if your heart's not feeling it, then you're not going to do anything. There's going to be no interest, no action, nothing. So really pay attention to what fills your heart, what excites your heart. Yeah, this is this discussion around passion, but like what just makes your heart sparkle and expand and shine and just like perk up. That's the stuff. That's the stuff that you're going to get involved in, because there needs to be an emotional connection in order to drive commitment. And that's what's very like, that's what stands out with moon and sun in Leo here. And that's what's going to stand out a lot about our new moon seeds that we're planting. We also have moon in sextile with Jupiter. So that's a nice conversation between moon and Jupiter, which then again brings a lot of feelings of positivity and hope and trust and being optimistic and just feeling like everything's going to work out. Okay. Like I said, soak this in, soak the energy of everything is going to be okay and everything's going to work out. And I have the strength and the power and the intelligence to know how to navigate through the hard times that are ahead. So be very present this week, be very intentional this week, listen to your heart this week. There's a lot of attention towards the heart with all of this Leo energy, and you're going to be just fine. So let's go on to our very, very special new moon day here. This is new moon on Sunday, so make sure to do some kind of intention setting, some rituals around this day for new moon. And we have it, it actually is happening at around, I believe it's 7:13 a.m. Eastern time. So that would be what 7 6 4 a.m. Pacific time, and this is happening early in the morning. So with our new moon in Leo, we're going to be concerned with self-expression, okay? Showing like what's in our heart and making sure that whatever you intend to start, because this is a new beginning, new moon's about new beginnings, whether it's a new relationship, a new idea, a new goal, a new project, whatever new that you want to do, just make sure whatever you choose for this next cycle is something that excites your heart. That is the one stipulation. Don't choose something with your mind. Don't choose something with logic. Don't choose something like, oh, it's a good idea that I should prioritize this because, this time is better because of whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like you're just trying to reason your way through, like this would be ideal. It's not about what you think you should focus on, or what you think is, intelligent or logical or ideal to focus. It's not about that. We need to move away, especially on this new moon. Look, there's a time and place for logic and reason and, analytical skills. Absolutely. But there's also a time right now, the time is to be heart centered and know like what you got to feel your way into what are the right seeds of intention to plant today. Okay, for this next cycle. So be connected, feel your way through. And you know what I like about this time too? It's not going to be do I want this or do I want that? Does my heart like this or that? It's not like that. There's a lot. I forgot to mention here, like, look, you have Moon and Pluto that are in opposition on Saturday. And Pluto is very intense. So we're going to have, with Moon in Leo and Pluto in opposite to it, it is going to amplify our feelings. It's going to strengthen and enhance our feelings. We even have, a trine between Neptune and Moon, which also is going to like bring on more sensitivity. So when I say like listen to your heart, it's not like a still small little feeling. Like it's going to be a big feeling. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel what your heart wants. It's going to be hard to, you know, it's not going to be hard to see it or feel it. It will be obvious. It's going to be loud. Your feelings are going to be more loud in this season, more on the surface. So you're going to be able to express it easily, clearly, rather than it being, you know, some cloudy thing. Like you'll know what your heart wants is my point. But that's how you're going to decide. That's the strategy when it comes to planting your new moon seeds. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this week's forecast. Please share this with anybody who is hypersensitive and empath so they know what is coming along and how they can really take advantage of this week that we have. It's a great week. It's a great week to start things. It's a great week to bond with our friends and family members. It's a great week to just reflect inwards and see what you truly desire and what just lights you up, what really excites you. And that's how you're going to make the right decisions this week. It is very heart led. So keep that in mind. And if you would like to learn more about corrections and mitigations, please check out my Rise and Thrive community. That's going to be linked down below. And if you want a more specific reading, I do provide cosmic clarity consultations as well. So I'll link that too. And make sure to like and subscribe, please, and hit that bell so that you are notified when a new forecast is up every week. Thank you so much and enjoy the energies of this week.